Hello everybody, welcome to our channel. I'm Mark, and in this series of videos we're discussing raising rabbits for meat. But unfortunately for this video, it's what is killing my rabbits. Over the last 2 weeks I've lost 6 baby rabbits at 7 weeks old and 3 adults, and the 4th adult is ill with whatever it is killing my rabbits. Now, before I actually show you the symptoms and show you the setup of our rabbitry, I'll go through a bit of history and explain initially what we thought was killing our rabbits. We bought our rabbits at the start of the first lockdown. It was very hard to buy rabbits, so I ended up buying a buck and 2 does from the same litter. I know some people say don't do it, but I've also gone on the internet and they said it is fine. If the rabbits have got good traits, there isn't a problem. We waited until the rabbits were 6 months old before breeding, because there was a little bit of doubt in my mind about breeding interbred rabbits. We went out and bought another buck from a pet shop, a checkered giant rabbit, which we named Rex. So when the does were 6 months old, we bred one with a brother and one with the new buck Rex, just to see what the outcome was. The interbred rabbits, she had 10 kits, whereas the other rabbit, she gave birth to 8. 2 of the interbred ones died within the first week. They were just found outside the nest, and after recovery they were found again, couldn't revive them, and basically they passed away. So we were left with 8 from each doe, and they were weaned at 5.5 weeks. I originally took half the kits away from the mums, put them in the long tractors, and then a week and a half later I removed the final smaller kits, the runts, and put them in the long tractors as well. It was once they were in the long tractors that we saw the first rabbit die. Now, just before the first rabbit dying, we had a huge storm for 3 days. The garden was battered, and after the storm stopped, we had our first fatality. So I went online, looked it up, and I understand that particularly youngsters can die from fright. So the first rabbit died, and we just put that down to the storm. 2 days later, 2 other rabbits from the same litter started showing the same signs. They became very lethargic, they weren't interested in food or water, and when I moved the long tractor to new grass, they weren't interested. Whereas all the other rabbits were greedily eating up all the new grass, the 2 that were lethargic just weren't interested in the new grass at all. And they died within 24 hours of first signs that there was a problem. That week we went on to a couple more fatalities. Okay guys, after we had the first fatality of the adult rabbits, I realised it wasn't the storm and fright that was killing our rabbits. It must have been something more. So I went online, done some research, and I think I found what it was that was killing our rabbits. It's quite a common disease now around the world. I've written it down. It's RHDV disease, rabbit hemorrhagic disease virus. Basically it attacks the livers, and the mortality rate is between 70 and 100%. How did my rabbits get this disease? Well, one was shot bought, the other 3 had been in the garden for some 6 months and were fine. It was only once we started the long tractors for the baby rabbits. We have seen in the garden, on the grass, poos from mysterious animals. We don't know what caused it, whether it was foxes, we have wild cats here, and we've also had a stoat in the garden. All 3 of those eat rabbits. And now what I suspect is that we've had a predator in the garden that's eaten a wild rabbit that's been infected with the illness, and it's defecated in the garden. I've then moved the rabbit hutches, or the rabbit tractors rather, around the lawn, and there must have been some feces within that patch, and that's how my rabbits caught the disease, and it's just spread throughout the colony. Now the good news is that there is some built-in immunity for baby rabbits. If they get exposed to the illness when they're sort of around 7 to 10 weeks, they become immune, and I think that's one of the reasons why the death rate and the symptom rate hasn't been so harsh in those rabbits that were bred between a new buck and the female. Perhaps we've had more fatalities with the other litter because they were crossbred. Perhaps there was a weakness within that litter. So from now on, I'm never going to be breeding interbred rabbits again. How is the illness passed? Well, it can be passed through flies, predators, even rabbit hair. So if they're molting and the hair's floating around the garden, it can spread to the other rabbits. I guess on a positive note, the good news is the rabbits that have survived now are immune. So if we use these babies as our breeding stock for the future, they should pass their immunity onto their offspring. So we shouldn't be hit again by this terrible disease. The virus can stay around for 1 to 2 months on everything. Very hard to get rid of. The baby rabbits at the moment are 9 weeks old. We're not looking to breed them until week 18, week 20. So that's plenty of time for the virus to go within our rabbitry. And at that point, we'll be buying a new buck in to start our breeding program again. It's been absolutely devastating, very heartbreaking. Yeah, the amount of time and energy that I put into these rabbits, building all the hutches, the long tractors. I go out every day collecting new dandelion leaves and cutting grass, and you get so attached to them. I know they're for meat at the end of the day, but you do get attached to them, and I was dreading the day that I had to dispatch the rabbits. But to see them all die over this week has been absolutely devastating. Okay guys, this long tractor houses the inbred rabbits. We had 10 rabbits in this long tractor, and the first fatalities were from here. We lost 5 rabbits in the first week. All had the same symptoms. Initially you noticed that the rabbit was very quiet, wasn't moving around. When I moved the long tractor to new grass, it didn't seem any interest at all in the new grass, whereas all the others were busily eating away. And that rabbit died probably 12 hours after I noticed there was a problem. Just beforehand, I did pick the rabbit up and separated it from the rest, and I did notice the body temperature of that rabbit was very hot. And then within a week, we lost another 4. All showed the same symptoms. I moved them away as soon as I saw a problem. But as you can see, we still have 4 that are very healthy and don't seem to have a problem. These are now 9 weeks old. Let me show you the other baby rabbits we've got. Okay guys, here's the second long tractor, and these rabbits, again, 9 weeks old, and these aren't crossbred. These are a cross between the Rex, which was a giant checkered rabbit, and one of the females that we bought initially at the start of lockdown, first lockdown. We had 7 in here, and we've actually lost 1. And we lost this one after the first 5 had died in the other long tractor. Same symptoms. As soon as I saw it go a little bit docile and limp, removed it. That one lasted about 24 hours before it died. The last death from this long tractor is a week ago now, and all these rabbits seem fine. Very energetic, they're eating well. The one thing I did do was that I bought a multivitamin and vitamin C solution, which I now put in their feed every day, just to try to give the rabbits a boost. I know with rabbits you don't need to give them vitamin C, but the amount of rabbits we've lost, I thought it can't hurt. And as you can see, they're all doing very well. Okay, after the first 5 baby rabbits, sort of 7.5 weeks had died, we had our first fatality with an adult rabbit, Alice. I had mated her 4 weeks after giving birth to the previous ones that you've just seen. She gave birth to 6 new babies, and 2 days afterwards she was dead in the cage. In this hutch we have Midnight, and she's actually showing the same symptoms of whatever killed our other rabbits. She's very lethargic, she's not really drinking, and she's not eating. I put the multi-minerals and vitamins in her food as well as her drink, so if ever she does go for some of that, she's going to get a bit of a boost. I gave her some greens today. She did eat some, which is a good sign, but she's left some. I'm hoping that whatever's killed the other rabbits, she's going to pull through. She doesn't seem to be in any distress. She's just very quiet and lethargic. Keeping my fingers crossed that she does pull through. But if I'm right in what I think they have had and what has killed all our rabbits, the mortality rate's between 70 and 100%. But I don't like putting a rabbit down. I will do if I find that she's in distress, but at the moment she seems calm, relaxed. I do stroke her and she's fine. She'll be the last rabbit I do touch though, before I touch any of the others. Okay guys, in this hutch we had Jasper, one of the original rabbits we bought, the buck, my favourite. He was the most friendly of all the 3 rabbits, or the 4 adults that we had. He showed symptoms in the morning, again just very docile, and he was dead within 12 hours. Just went off his food and just went. Unbelievable. Whatever's killing these rabbits can act very fast. Okay guys, the last adult died in this hutch. This was a shop-bought checkered giant's rabbit, which we named Rex. He started showing symptoms one morning, just a bit docile, noticed he hadn't eaten his food. He died within 12 hours. Before those 12 hours, he was very active, very friendly, ate well, drunk well. His death was very sudden. 12 hours it took. And the thing with this rabbit, he's at least 25 metres away from any other rabbit. He's tucked away in the corner of the garden, and yet he still caught the disease. Guys, I can't say I hope you've enjoyed this video. It hasn't been enjoyable to make. It's been devastating over the last sort of 10 days, seeing all the rabbits die. And you're just helpless. There's nothing you can do for them. They don't seem to be in pain, which is a blessing. And there's always that hope that they do pull through. You know, with the mortality rate between 70 and 100%, that means there is a chance that some of them will pull through. And as you can see from our current stock, a lot of them have shown immunity to this dreadful illness. On the positive note, that immunity will be passed on to their offspring in the future. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we're never going to suffer this again. You know, you can't keep the predators out your garden. You can protect your rabbits, but you can't stop the predators coming into the garden and defecating on the grass. And you can't check it all. It's just one of those things. It's prevalent all around the world now, this illness. So until next time, keep safe and thanks for watching. Take care. Guys, if you look in the description, there's a link to the multi-minerals and vitamins that I'm actually providing the rabbits now to give them a boost. They seem to have all perked up, so hopefully just keeping their health as high as I can is going to combat this illness. Can't do any harm anyway.